It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your gender, and it doesn't matter what you wear. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I'm Trent Croce with how 35 victims' outfits displayed at U Toledo are hoping to end the stigma.
Are you looking to buy a new car? I'm Samantha Rojas on tips to how to get you into a new vehicle in today's market.
The news in 10 minutes starts now. Last week, we told you about the local housing market and the struggles facing home buyers.
And people searching for a new car face a similar situation. UT10's Samantha Rojas joins us now live in the newsroom. Samantha, why are car lots still somewhat empty and prices so high?
The demand for new cars is steady while supplies are low. Manufacturing slowdowns and supply chain problems have hit the auto market particularly hard during the pandemic. The results cause an ongoing chip shortage.
Adriana Marino can't wait to get a bigger vehicle for her family.
It's stressful because there's a lot of limitations out there as far as the production and the inventory.
After searching for a year, Marino was starting to lose hope and finding exactly what she's looking for.
And having to go to one dealership to another, you go in with confidence thinking that you're going to find what you were ultimately looking for, but you can't.
Local sales consultant says since the chip shortage, it's hard to get into a new car right now anywhere. Sales consultant Mara Frist says since the supply is low, multiple people are looking at one vehicle, which rises the price.
As soon as we're getting them, we're selling them.
Dealerships aren't holding cars on the lot long enough. This is causing them to do this.
There's dealerships that are selling their new vehicles for $30,000 over the sticker price.
Making it harder for people like Marino to find a van for her family.
It's just been really stressful trying to find something that I want for my family and I.
The salesperson predicts the chip shortage will last until 2023, so it may be until next year that the car lots look like they did pre-pandemic. Live in the newsroom, I'm Samantha Rojas, UT10 News.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Industry analysts say used car prices rose 30% this past year. However, used vehicle inventory is growing as tax refunds come in and used car sales remain low. Demand for used cars is expected to rise this spring. You still have time to visit an exhibit meant to change the way we think about a very tough topic.
And as you're about to see, the What Were You Wearing exhibit displays sexual assault survivor stories and recreates the outfits victims were wearing. U Toledo's Carlson Library holds thousands of stories within its walls, but this past week it held 35 more, the ones commemorating the victims for April's Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the What Were You Wearing event hosted by U Toledo's Title IX team since 2018.
Because we had such a large submission, and the space is small, we had to retire half the collection, and now this is like all brand new. So folks that have been to the exhibit before have never seen these outfits or these stories.
The event hopes to end misconceptions about sexual assault and rape culture by recreating the victims' outfits.
One of those things is, what were you wearing? That's often one of the first questions folks are asked when they, approach someone and tell them that they've been sexually, assaulted.
It's not sure exactly where the submitted forms online come from, but Title IX does their best to request members in the community through social media and other means.
Since it is anonymous, and we are very much true to sticking to that and promising that to the folks that we work with, we don't know where the stories come from. If you look in this room, you'll see that all of these outfits are everyday wear, and some of the ages are from very, very little to much older. So it doesn't matter your age, your gender, the color of your skin.
For one student attendee, he agreed.
It doesn't matter at all. I think it's obvious based upon how much, pajamas, swimsuit, army, like there's no stigma, or there shouldn't be a stigma on what you're wearing because it could happen to anybody at any time, really.
This exhibit is on display in the Carlson Library Room, 10:05 until 4 p.m. today, Thursday, April 14th. The Title IX team will be holding more events this month. For more information, visit ut10news.com. If you witness a victim of sexual assault, the Title IX coordinator advises utilizing the 4 Ds of bystander intervention. Directing is to approach the situation and intervene. By delegating, you assist and help on your behalf to the person, and through distracting, you can do anything to break the flow of potential harm in a situation, such as asking to do a TikTok or other activity, and then delaying the situation is when you check in with the person and provide resources to them. If you or someone you know is a victim of sexual assault, Title IX encourages you to report the behaviors or contact one of their coordinators. We have a link to those resources on our website, ut10news.com.
Talking pot. A U Toledo nursing student teamed up with police for a different kind of drug awareness event. Angel Quisenberry says she knows other students are afraid to report drug overdoses for fear of getting in trouble or being judged. So she organized a pot painting event to get people talking about the dangers of drugs and to remind them there is a university policy in place that protects callers and the person who overdosed from disciplinary action from the university. The policy states they may be referred to the counseling center for help. Trent?
Thanks, Tiara. The man police say shot 10 people on a Brooklyn subway train is behind bars, and he faces federal terrorism charges. The AP reports the arrest comes after a day-long manhunt. A tipster's call helped police find the 62-year-old on a Manhattan street. No one was killed in the shooting, but 5 victims are in critical condition. President Joe Biden has now referred to Russia's war in Ukraine as a genocide, AP reports. Biden's comments were taken well by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who talked with him Wednesday as Zelensky encouraged Western leaders to use the term. And following the call, Biden announced an additional $800 million in weapons, ammunition, and other security assistance to Ukraine. And fans are mourning the death of Gilbert Gottfried, the actor and legendary stand-up comic. According to a statement, Gottfried died from a rare genetic muscle disease that can trigger a dangerously abnormal heartbeat. In a tweet, the family asked fans to, quote, keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor.
It's a fun way to raise funds. Students at a local school usually get help from Old St. Nick, but COVID canceled that December event. As UT10's Aylin Martinez shows us, luckily another well-known childhood favorite hopped in to help out.
This weekend, Wade High School's National Honor Society hosted their first Breakfast with the Easter Bunny event, an event for kids to get breakfast, play games, and even get a picture with the Easter Bunny. This is National Honor Society's first event since the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Wade community came out to support National Honor Society for their first ever Breakfast with the Easter Bunny event. In the past years, NHS hosted a Breakfast with Santa event that had to be postponed last year. That didn't stop them from serving their community.
It's always been a tradition. For a few years they did Breakfast with Santa, but because of COVID, and especially COVID seems to be worse in the winter, we decided to move it back to spring and the Easter Bunny.
The students made pancakes and sausages for their guests, and they offered a variety of activities, such as face painting, coloring, bracelet making, and playing games with the Easter Bunny.
And we felt as though kids would love it because it's the Easter Bunny. So it took a lot of, because we also didn't have any community service projects or money for the club. So this is one of those things that helped us get money for the club.
This year, their attendance goal was met, allowing them to raise over $300 for their club. This money will be used to host future events and will go to the funding for their club inductees and graduates.
It took a lot of hard work, all of us getting together, going to meetings every week.
NHS members have been planning this event since December of last year. Their goal? To create a community tradition that can be enjoyed by everyone.
So far we've had a really good turnout, and I'm excited to see what we're going to do in the years coming up.
In Toledo, Aylin Martinez, UT10 News.
The National Honor Society hopes to bring back their holiday breakfast events this December. Don't go anywhere. We have highlights from the Rockets football team's annual spring game next in sports.
In the classroom, on the court, extracurriculars, or life in general, trying to balance everything as a college student isn't easy. As a result, students all over are dealing with mental health issues at record numbers. Tune in to UT10 Thursday, April 28th as I speak with advocates at U Toledo about the subject. You now have more ways to watch the University of Toledo's award-winning student newscast.
Thanks to our broadcast partners, you can catch UT10 News
and sports in more places.
We're live at ut10news.com and on YouTube Thursdays at noon and 12:30.
Catch replays on Buckeye Channels 109 and 609 on Thursday evenings at 5 and Sundays at 9 a.m.
And on WGTE Public Media Friday evenings at 6:30.
This is your UT10 Sports Report. I'm Caleb Gill. There are a few players who don't plan on being Rockets for their next season, but for the football players that will be here, their spring game was last Saturday. It might be the spring, but at times it felt like another fall Saturday in the Glass Bowl when the Rockets football team held their annual spring game. It started off as a typical practice that fans were able to watch, but once the scrimmage began, every player seemed to give it their all. After practicing the last 5 weeks, the spring game gives coaches an opportunity to evaluate their players and help sort out different positional battles. This is a team that even only after a couple weeks of practice, Coach Candle still feels confident about them moving forward.
It's a culmination of 5 really strong weeks of diligent work, and this is the first time that a young player here, maybe some of these early enrollee guys, some of these transfer guys, can be out here in the stadium in front of some fans. Not ideal weather conditions today, but wanted to do that for those guys to have that opportunity to, because it's different than practice when there's people in the stands. So, watch the tape and, take the next step in the evaluation process and see how that leads us into a strong summer.
The quarterbacks are always at the center of attention, and that was no different with sophomore quarterback DeQuan Finn and redshirt freshman Tucker Gleason, both looking sharp. Finn is hoping to improve upon a season where he claimed the role as starter midway through the season and knows there are still things he needs to work on throughout the summer.
As far as just anticipating more throws, understanding more coverages, as far as defense giving me, just being more of a vocal leader for the team, that's one of the traits I need to inherit more.
The defensive secondary is an area that some players will need to step up, especially after losing Tyson Anderson and Sam Momack, both of whom could be on NFL teams by the end of this month.
Last year, we had very good guys like Woe, Tyson Anderson, I was behind them. They passed the torch to me, so everything this year is very important to me. So I'm gonna show you're not a Rocky, you out of pocket.
Delancey is very confident in himself and his abilities. He is excited to show others just what he can do.
I just want to let everybody know I know how to play. I could play. I just want to, keep working, keep getting better, and show the world what I got.
Other players who made an impact in the spring game are hopeful that they can continue to build on the foundation that they have set in the spring and will be ready to go when the Rockets open up their season against Long Island on Saturday, September 3rd. One of those players from last year who won't be suiting up for the Midnight Blue and Gold this fall is wide receiver Isaiah Winstead, who has transferred to East Carolina University. He announced his decision after going into the transfer portal on February 3rd. He snagged 38 passes and 520 yards and a touchdown in 2021 for Toledo. He announced the decision to go and play for the Pirates on April 2nd. Winstead had originally transferred from Norfolk State to Toledo in 2019, suiting up for UT for the first time in 2020. He will finish his Rockets career with 63 catches for 959 yards and 4 touchdowns. Another player who has decided to leave the University of Toledo is men's basketball player Ryan Rollins, who is declared for the NBA draft. The sophomore guard was first-team All-MAC this past season and scored his 1,000th career point against the Bowling Green Falcons earlier this year on March 4th. Rollins started all 64 games of his career and averaged 16.4 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 3.1 assists in his career. In his final season with Toledo, Rollins averaged 18.9 points, which ranked top 50 nationally, had 6 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. Rollins could go back to college if he decides during the draft process that the best option for him is to return. Some experts have projected Rollins to potentially be a second-round pick. He would have to make his decision on if he wants to return to school or not by June 1st. That'll be it for sports. Back to you, Trent TR.
Thank you, Caleb. That's it for UT10 News.
And remember, you can catch newscast replays on YouTube, and don't forget to follow us on social media and listen to 88.3 WXUT FM Saturday mornings at 7:45 for the UT10 Weekly News Update. We'll see you next week.